everybody, PKO Gamer here. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a different attire here. Santa lent me his cap. So this is the first ever PKO Gamer Christmas special. No, we're not going to have people like Kiss or somebody come on the show and do some type of crappy dialogue and crap like that. If you got that, that's a Family Guy joke. But yeah, what I was thinking about, what was the first type of Christmas special I could do? And I thought, what about all the commercials? This is Christmas. You turn on the TV, you get commercials. Everybody's saying, buy our stuff, And I remember the commercials back in the day, really good commercials that really got you wanting to go out there and you were screaming up at your mom and dad, get me that thing. Please, Mom and Dad, get me this thing. And, today's it's the Wii U. I'm sorry. People are buying the Wii U. I mean, actually, I was going to say that for the end of the video, but the only really Christmassy advertisement I've seen is from Nintendo for the Wii U. So good job, Nintendo. The Sony and Microsoft camp, they don't really just show off the PlayStation. You don't do that now. They don't really have to show off the systems. The internet, E3, all show it off for them. So I went through YouTube and I found some commercials all the way back from Atari up into some couple generations ago. I'm not going to be able to hit every console or every commercial you like. If I know you might say, what about this console, PKO Gamer? I'm going to tell you the TurboGrafx isn't in here. Calm down. No, put down your pitchforks. It just wasn't around here. There was no TurboGrafx in my area. If you've listened to the Boss Rush podcast, you should be doing that. Yeah, we just didn't have the TurboGrafx. We didn't even have the Saturn very much. I actually had Saturn Sun. I didn't hardly see a Sega CD at all. So the first console I want to go back in time reminisce about is the Atari 2600. I mean, this is my logo. You saw the Christmas intro. That is my Atari 2600 controller. It still works. I got all these old great games. You got to come with combat. It was just really fun. System, it really brought cartridges to the mainstream. Now, I know there's some like ColecoVision and Television. They did well. But Atari was doing great up until the crash. Yeah, the commercials going back, I barely remember these commercials, but they were pretty cool. So let's take a look at a couple of Atari commercials.
Atari would like to thank you for taking us into your homes. We wish you all a happy holiday.
Christmas, and all through the ship, not a sensor was flashing, not even a blip. The small units were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of Atari games zoomed through their heads. When all of a sudden there was a huge blast. We were being invaded. I had to act fast. I ran to the bridge to assume the command, and there found St. Nicholas with joystick in hand. The sounds I had thought were an alien mission were really just Santa playing pole position. Then with Miss Pac-Man he gobbled and scored. He plugged in Jungle Hunt and played till he roared. With a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, he blasted the centipede out of the sky. Then from his sack he pulled dozens of games, all the great ones from Atari, our favorite names. Before I could thank him, he was again on his way. He beamed himself out right into his sleigh. But I heard him exclaim as he flew out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Second one, that was really interesting. And if you look at the subtitles, it said graphics is from the 5200, Atari 5200. See, as they went to the 2600, the 5200, then the 7800, you started seeing the cartridges hit multiple versus their consoles, which also hurt the industry and led to the crash of 83. It's like, why is there two and now three fucking Atari consoles? See, that's the stuff that really hurt. But it was really cool to see, you know, just the Atari. The Atari stuff is just so cool. Um, but now this last one, I'm going to show you one more Atari commercial. Please put down your pitchforks after if you see this one. And I own the cartridge, but it's an infamous game. Let's take a look at this commercial.
Only from Atari. Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home. Just in time for Christmas. Happy holidays.
I'm sorry, everybody. I know I had to show the ET commercial. I mean, it's a good commercial. It really is a good commercial. It's crafted well. It's a lot of time and effort put into it, probably more than the game. And I got the cartridge. A lot of people do. I mean, it's been made fun of in AVGN. Probably one of the most hated games all time. Blamed for the crash, but it just was rushed, and it's not that bad, but just those memories, even if they're bad memories, that brings us, you know, it brings a lot of memories back. So after the 2600, my next system I got was a Nintendo Entertainment System, like a lot of people. I didn't get a Master System, and you know I didn't really have a lot of Master System stuff around here, but the Nintendo Entertainment System stuff I just kept asking for. Finally got the action set, and I actually got a little bit later, maybe it was a year or so into it, and I got the orangish red light gun, you know, that actually looks more like a toy than it wanted. They wanted it to look like a real gun. And of course, you had Mario and Duck Hunt packs. And first games I ever rented, first two games I remember is I rented Mike Tyson's Punch Out and Mega Man 2. And I still got Mega Man 2 from my childhood and in the box. I love it. And just recently, I finally picked up a copy of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and everything comes around full circle. It's a great console. You know, let's take a look at these two commercials because they really do bring back a lot of memories.
So the boy fell asleep in the Toys R Us store, and he woke up with toys from the ceiling to the floor. We've got the Nintendo action set, including the control deck with double game pack and Zapper light gun for just $99.99 at Toys R Us. And we have all the hottest game cartridges at great everyday low prices. Love growing up with my Toys R Us kid. Toys R Us. You'll never outgrow us.
This Christmas, bring home the Nintendo Entertainment System. Action set, only $99.99 at Target.
Nintendo is on the ball with some of this advertising. I mean, Aretha Franklin, shit. I mean, you don't see her playing a Nintendo. She probably was like, hell no, I'm not going to play a Nintendo. But to have her out there and endorse it, I mean, that's just a couple of NES commercials. You know, like I said before that, the Master System wasn't in my area much. I went to Walmart, and you had a Nintendo section. It was real big. And then you had this little section in his Master System, and those cartridges, the cartridge boxes, which were cool. And Nintendo, you really should have gotten to the plastic clamshells a lot earlier. They popped out. They were white and blue, and they all had that grid color. Some of them were horrible, and some of them were cool looking. And I do remember that. So even though I didn't have it in my youth, in my childhood, and I actually had one, my cousin had it once, had one of them, and I played it like twice, maybe once. Here is a Sega Master System commercial from the past, and I hope that brings lots of good memories, because really, I don't remember seeing this as a kid, so that shows you my area had no saturation. So let's take a look at the Sega Master System commercial.
You can buy another toy
Or you can buy this, the Sega Master System of Entertainment, with super-sensitive control pads and a pinpoint accurate light phaser that even registers misses. Unique Sega card with 256K memory and even more. Our mega cartridge with an unbelievable 4 times more power than most cartridges. It's a future of excitement. The Sega Master System of Interactive Video Entertainment.
I said, my cousin had a Master System, and I played it 1, maybe 2 times, but I never really saw it much other than that little section in Walmart. And it was sad because it really should have got more exposure. It got more exposure overseas, but not here in the States. So it's really kind of sad it did, because it's a neat looking system. I picked up Afterburner just recently, and in the box with the poster and the instruction manual. Even though I've never played with that Master System more than that one time in my childhood, I'm going to get the adapter. And I'm planning on, hopefully for Christmas, to get the Super Retro Trio or something, a little clone. And I'm going to put the Type 2 bass converter. I'm going to start playing some Master System games. So good stuff. The next console is something that really revolutionized everything. The Game Boy. I remember this and just wanting to get the Game Boy, and everybody's like, oh my gosh. Even when you walked into a Walmart and you could walk up and play the Nintendo, I played like Karnov and maybe a couple of games like Pro Wrestling. And actually, that's the only places I really played Zelda at, was that I never got into it until later. Now I got me a copy of Zelda on it. Was when they had a display of a Game Boy. We flipped our shit, and it's like, oh my God, are you seeing this? I'm playing Mario, and I would sit there sometimes for almost an hour in electronics. I probably didn't like it, and I got far in that Super Mario Land. It's just like, oh my gosh. So, and I finally got the Game Boy. I remember getting the Ninja Turtles game and beating it within an hour or so after I got it. I told my mom, I said, wow, that was great. It was fun. I was trying to tell her. She goes, well, you better go back and play it some more, because you're not going to get any more anytime soon. I'm like, okay. I loved it. And let's take a look at these 2 Game Boy commercials, because they really bring back a lot of memories.
Possible. But now you can have all the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. Introducing Game Boy. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable. Plus, Game Boy comes with the outrageous new game, Tetris. And for head-to-head competition, use the revolutionary video link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, portable power.
Super Mario Land, Game Boy. F1 race, Game Boy. Don't forget your Tetris and Dr. Mario in your face. With all the great games you can get for a Game Boy, you better believe you can spend your whole life playing Game Boy. Game Boy. Socket a walk in the back of the muppet. Game Boy. Game Boy.
Commercials probably the most popular in my mind. It's just, if you remember the original box, it had like a robotic see-through, it was hands holding the Game Boy. It's so futuristic, because it was futuristic. It was really the first really good any type of handheld we had, and it was really good memories. It went on the Game Boy Pocket, which got a little bit better, and then the Game Boy Color, and it went on the Game Boy Advance, SP, DS, and 3DS. Here we are with that. But the Game Boy still is an awesome system. Like the Master System, though, the Game Gear wasn't, I don't know, I think my area was a Nintendo area. It really was. I didn't see hardly Game Gear anything. I saw a couple of times some kids had it in school. But the commercials were memorable because they really tried to push it. Sega was out there, boom, pushing these commercials saying, look at us. Look at us. We've got color. And these 2 commercials are awesome. And I remember them and they bring back so good memories when I was looking up these commercials for this video. And what Sega really pushed was very fun. So let's take a look at these 2 Game Gear commercials and bring back some awesome memories of how awesome color is and the Nintendo Game Boy isn't.
The country like a plague. Thousands of helpless teenagers trapped in a dull, drab world of colorless video games. But there is hope. Color? Introducing Game Gear from Sega. The full-color portable game system that separates the men from the boys. Game Gear from Sega.
Hey, there's an easier way to get color. Get a Game Gear, the full color portable with over 150 games, like the new Echo, Mortal 2, and Sonic Triple Trouble.
Man, Sega was all over Nintendo for the lack of color in the Game Boy. I mean, the second one guy be hitting himself in the head with a squirrel to bring out color. Color. Even back then, I was like, dude, that's fucked up. And it still is funny. And they had a good system. It just didn't catch on well. And it's sad because, you know, it was a good system. I remember one good memory, and like I said, I think I said this on Boss Rush podcast. I said that again. Better go listen to that. I went by a KB store, and I don't even think they exist in my area. I don't even know if they exist at all, but they had a display. It was toward the holidays. They had Mortal Kombat out there. And I played it, and I put the blood code and played it for a few minutes. Went through the rest of the mall, came back with my parents. I had like 4 or 5 kids around it. At least 3. Yeah, I made it interesting, and I remember that. So the Game Gear was a good system. It just didn't catch on as much, but still an awesome bunch of commercials, you know. The next big system, it starts into the 16-bit era. Well, I'll just tell you right now, I went Super Nintendo. I stayed with Nintendo for this generation, and the Super Nintendo is something I really just was getting. I was in Nintendo Power. I was going, oh, look at that. You know, that funky one that had the down and the up, and it was the purplish and gray. And then I remember one time they showed the one I actually circled it. I actually kind of left. I took my Nintendo Power, I left it for my parents to see, and I said, my toy, I put my name in there, my real name, toy, and they went, oh, okay. And they didn't end up getting me, and everybody got Super Mario World. I just got a copy of Super Mario World recently. Everybody said, have you ever emulated it? Yeah, I've never owned it on cartridge until now, and I'm 38. But I saved up my allowance and got the action set. Console, RF adapter, power adapter, 1 controller. First thing I ever rented, Street Fighter II, The World Warrior. And it was good. It was a good system. So let's watch these 3 Super Nintendo commercials and see if this brings back a lot of memory for you guys.
Words can't describe the endless challenge of Super Mario World, so we let the players do the talking. Super Mario World is here. It's one of the new generation of Nintendo games. It comes only with Super Nintendo, and it's like nothing you've ever faced. Now you're playing with power. Superpower.
You've played every Mario game. You've conquered every Mario game. You think you've mastered all there is to know about Mario. Well, you better think again. New Super Mario World, made possible by the power of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. You've never faced the challenge of so many enemies, so many obstacles, so many levels. You've never needed help from a dinosaur before. Super Mario World, you get it only with a Super NES. It's part of the growing lineup of games for the next generation from Nintendo. You've got to play it. You've got to have it. You've got a reputation. Now you're playing with power. Superpower.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Yeah, that system was probably my most favorite system. Probably it and the PlayStation 1 are probably, I take them in my hand and go, I can't tell. Either one of those are one of my most favorite systems of all time, period. A lot of people say that. A lot of people agree. A lot of people disagree. You have your own favorite console, but it was great. The first Christmas I got Final Fight, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Good stuff. Super Ghouls and Ghosts kicked the shit out of me. But Final Fight was a dream come true to actually have Final Fight gimped with only, Cody and Hagar, but have that when I pump so many quarters into it, and it's a great system. But before the Super Nintendo, we all know the Genesis came out, and it was out a little bit earlier. I remember opening either a Sears or JCPenney's catalog. I can't tell which one it was. And I was opening, and I went, Sega Genesis. You had the Genesis, you had Altered Beast, and it was 16-bit power, and I was like, shiny. I want the shiny. And I was so enamored with the console. I mean, I wanted it for a very long time. But I think right around that time, a little bit later, I mean, my parents were like, no, we can't get it right now. It's like, okay, man, the Genesis, man, Sega, whoa, what's this? I remember that little other system. I didn't really remember it's the Master System, but I think what started pulling me away was the Super NES prototypes in the Nintendo Power. But it still was a great system. I went over to friends, and I did get to play Genesis many times. It just was a different type of system. It was good. Personally, and this is some hoping no Christmas flame wars here, but I'm a pro SNES fan because of some things like Chrono Trigger, some Final Fantasies, Zelda, everything else. But it's just because of where I grew up at. The Genesis was a fantastic system, and I'm getting giddy about going out and picking up some Genesis games and playing them. Like I said, on my clone system, I'm hoping to get it for Christmas or soon if I don't get it for Christmas. It was a great system, and the commercials, and they really did it. And you'll probably know these ones, and the Sega fans are bobbing their head, thinking, doing some of these commercials in their head. So here's 3 Genesis commercials from the past, and I hope this brings some good memories back to you guys.
Oh, cool! I heard Matt got a Sega Genesis.
I heard Matt got a Sega Genesis.
Well, I guess one more is okay.
The Sega Genesis. Game cartridges sold separately.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't. So what's blast processing do? What if you don't have blast processing?
Look out! Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does. Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Collins free. What Nintendo? Buy a 16-bit Genesis system between now and October 31st.
Those commercials were awesome. I mean, Nintendo, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. I mean, it was that couple of years there where Sega pushed forward, and really, Sega Galactico, co-host on the Boss Rush podcast, was saying, really, the Genesis was the NES for competition. It really weren't going head-to-head with the Super Nintendo because it wasn't out, and then the Nintendo, with its stranglehold on its developers, keeping them in the contracts, that's why you didn't see a lot of stuff on the Genesis at first. So when they brought the Super Nintendo, it was much more powerful, and it did better because of that. Of course, you don't see that now, and it was unfair for Nintendo to do it, but still a great system, I know that people will say, what about the Sega CD? I didn't have it. And frankly, the people around me never said they had a Sega CD. Nobody could afford it. And I'm not going to talk about the 32X. Not going to go there. There's a few people that like it, but most people hate it, and I think it was a waste of time. But the next system that I got, I went away from Nintendo. The newest thing coming out was this Sony system, and at that time, I didn't know about Sony and Nintendo and what they had and hadn't happened. And, now that, the story goes that Nintendo turned down Sony and didn't want to partner with them. And like I said, that prototype is real. We've seen it. And this brought forth the Sony PlayStation. Great game system. It and then Super Nintendo, my buddy and I rented the system in those big old clamshells. I think the first thing we played was Battle Arena Toshinden. And on the Super Nintendo we rented, we played Ultraman, which still wasn't that good, but at the time it was like, 16-bit, awesome, and Pilot Wings. You know, this is just a console that they just went off and did some great stuff, and it was a great console. I didn't get an N64 for a little while because the PlayStation to me was a little better. But I did end up getting an N64 and buying Doom and Zelda and all these other good games on it. And this is a time where, Sony and Nintendo were going back and forth. It was cool and it's fun commercials, and they were really going back and forth to each other playfully. And here's a couple commercials. Here's a PlayStation commercial and N64 commercial. And see if this brings back some good memories for you guys.
Why did Mom give you the silver? I was supposed to get the silver.
Where were you when Mom was sick?
Oh, that's right.
Excuse
you were in
me.
Florida with that
Don't
guy.
talk to my wife that way.
Talk to her any way I want to.
Excuse me.
You know, you're not even
I've got to say, I think I want to be a Democrat.
Okay, time out. Fangs and claws away. Peace on earth, goodwill to each other. Where's the love? You can't stop, Grandma. You can't.
PlayStation.
Jingle bells, Santa smells, Christmas really stunk. I got nothing that I like, my gifts were all just junk. Boxes full of clothes, CDs no one knows. When I wanted something for my Nintendo 64, Zelda's great, Turok 2, South Park would be fine. How about Rogue Squadron? That game should be mine.
Make up for a lame Christmas. Get the hits you missed on N64.
Mom and Dad, I'm so sad.
This generation, I looked at the commercials, and the PlayStation 2 one was, I didn't have it. Again, I didn't go to PlayStation 2, so I went all over the place, And in my gaming, my path, I didn't stay on Nintendo. I went over to Sony for a little bit, and then after the PlayStation 2, I went off to our Xbox, and I kind of went back and got a GameCube. And even the GameCube commercials were okay. I looked online. I'm going to leave a link below for some GameCube, a whole list of GameCube commercials of the compilation. I think a PlayStation 2 commercial compilation below. So you can get some nostalgia going on. But even the Xbox commercials were okay. That led into the PS3 and Xbox 360. And again, the commercials stopped being really, we're awesome and the competition is not, far into the internet age and the way things came out in E3, and really the consoles let the games talk for them. You don't see a lot of commercials. You don't even see commercials now for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One for Xbox One. Better than that PlayStation thing over there. And also where Sony come out saying, they can't even sell enough to keep the doors open. I mean, that would be funny as hell, and it would be not true, but it show how well the Sony PlayStation 4 is outselling the Microsoft Xbox One. But they don't go back and forth with playful stuff. So around the rest of these commercials, I'm gonna put some links below, some other commercials, so you guys can take a look at it for like GameCube and PlayStation, maybe an Xbox One to take a look. But they weren't really memorable. They stopped around the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. And I know I skipped the Saturn. The Saturn I didn't get one. I got a PlayStation. The Saturn commercials were good, okay, but they're worse. Pretendo. Look up Saturn Pretendo on YouTube. It's weird. They just make fun of it. And the play thing. They really went too aggressive to me, and I think they just didn't do really well. So, but I'll end this video on a console that, well, a lot of people say it's one of the best consoles ever created. It had too short of a lifespan. The PlayStation 2 ended it. I'm talking about the Dreamcast. Here's something that's really weird. My history in gaming, I didn't own a Sega system until the last fucking console. Isn't that ironic, ladies and gentlemen? And it was a fantastic console. It just didn't have, Sega's inner struggles between their Japanese offices and their United States offices. They pounded, they beat each other's heads, just like two mountain goats. And they made stupid mistakes. Like 32X itself was a stupid mistake. They even said that. And then the Saturn was okay. When they brought out the Dreamcast, it was great, but this PlayStation 2 stomped it with DVD technology and more power. But it still was a great console. I mean, I love that console. And they did commercials right this time. They were doing good around the Sega Genesis, even the 32X and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't even see a lot of commercials. That that was the add-ons to the Sega Genesis. But they went to Saturn. They were all crazy as fucking hell. Like, you need to stop smoking what you're smoking, Sega. And then the Dreamcast commercials. Oh, they're so good. Here's 3 commercials for the Dreamcast, and man, I forgot about the tagline. It's thinking.
Game rated T for teens.
Yeah, I'm here for my license.
Get behind that yellow line!
Yeah, I know. License, please.
You better get out of my face! You ain't gonna get your punk license
Yeah,
back!
I
Look what
know.
I got on you! You drive through the mall, the subway, city park, you like a dumb.
That was some big air.
What's your problem?
Hey, that's what I get paid for. I made some serious cake that day.
Crazy Taxi on Sega Dreamcast.
Coming to a Dreamcast near you. You will feel the passion of Soul Calibur.
Man, she's off the hook. Oh, perfect. Soul Calibur on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
Well, that's my Christmas special. I hope I brought a lot of great memories back to you guys. Told you where I came from, what I did, as gaming, what really stuck with me in my gaming history. I know I didn't hit them all. I didn't show you TurboGrafx stuff, Sega CD stuff, Saturn, and GameCube, but I'm gonna try to link stuff below. And yeah, this is what what makes Christmas fun is just thinking back to all the good stuff and the commercials. But on an interesting note, and I'm not going to put it here, I'm going to put it somewhere down in here in YouTube. There's a new Wii U commercial. I don't have a Nintendo Wii U. I'm not going to try to bash Nintendo. I just don't want one. I'm hoping for the NX. But they have a really good Christmas based commercial. It's awesome. It's really fun. So I hope everybody has a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I know I forget stuff. Happy Winter Solstice, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate or you don't celebrate. From my family to yours, happy holidays. Have a safe one, and be safe out. And just enjoy the holidays, people, and just keep on gaming. This is Big Yo Gamer.